so very glad to stand here today with Secretary Tom Perez, Senator Mikulski, Dollar Secretary Kelly Schultz, GBC President Don Fry, our One Baltimore Chairman, Mr. Michael Cryer, State Senator Catherine Pugh, who is in the back. I know I saw State Senator Bill Ferguson here as well as the Director for the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, Mr. Jason Perkins Cohen, and all of our other partners who are here today. We are here to discuss my administration's efforts to put our young people to work and to ask for help as we try to expand opportunities for thousands of Baltimore's young people. From a historic billion-dollar investment in our new school to the construction of the first in decades new recreation centers, I've always been committed to expanding opportunities for our young people. But we must also continue to bridge the gap between our young adults and new businesses who are increasingly choosing to call Baltimore their home. That's why this administration has worked directly with local businesses, foundations, and our state and federal partners, and anyone who is willing to commit to our youth to create a nationally recognized summer jobs program, Youth Works and Hire One Youth. I want to thank Don Fry again for your great leadership. It takes the business leaders coming together in order to make this successful, and the person who has accepted the charge to get our Hire One Youth initiative off the ground is Don Fry, and I want to thank you for being a true leader in the business community. Since its inception, Don has been an active participant in helping us to grow this essential public-private partnership. Since we've introduced these programs, thousands of Baltimore's young adults have earned valuable on-the-job experiences, while employers have added valuable and needed talent to their summer talent pool. Despite all of the progress we have seen, we are still looking for summer employment opportunities. Our young people want a chance to learn. They want a chance to earn, and they deserve a chance to grow. Last year, we had over 5,000 job placements. This year, we set an ambitious goal of 8,000 job placements. To get there, we're going to need support from partners willing to donate their time and their money, but more importantly, their jobs. We've already raised funds for about 7,000 positions, but we are still looking to close a $1.5 million gap. So, it's important that we close this gap so we can fund positions for the 8,000 completed applications we received this year. We don't want to close the door on opportunity when young people have enough sense to know that they need these opportunities to position themselves to reach their potential. We want to answer that call. So this money that we are raising is being raised through One Baltimore and the Baltimore City Foundation, and I am confident that under Michael Cryer's leadership, we will get there. But it's not just about the funding. Right now we have about 6,000 job placements, and we're still looking for businesses willing to open their hearts and their doors to Baltimore's young people. The good news is it's not too late to get involved. Today, I am calling on businesses across the city to lend a hand. If you've participated in the past, I hope you return again this year. If you've never participated before, now is the perfect time to start. And thanks to the additional funding we've already raised, this year represents a unique opportunity. Many businesses can secure youth workers without having to pay additional wages. So this is a no-brainer. We can put more young people to work. We can put more money into the local economy because you know when young people get it, they spend it. and we can do it to scale so that all businesses can get involved. Again, I want to thank everyone committed to this effort. Together we can ensure that our young people are productively engaged during the summer months and that Baltimore continues to see a significant return on its investment. Now, I would like to introduce and to turn this over to one of our most invaluable partners, Maryland's own Secretary Tom Perez. Secretary.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to be here with you, with Senator Mikulski, with Secretary Schultz, and with your distinguished leaders here. This is an important day, and I'm excited to be here. And I want to thank forward-looking businesses like Wells Fargo, like Hilton, who recognize that you don't just hire someone for a summer, you end up giving career pathways to people. That's what it's all about. And I want to thank my good friend Ron Peterson. Hopkins has been an anchor in this area of summer youth employment. You know, youth unemployment nationally is way too high. And despite the progress we've made as a nation in recent years, the youth unemployment rate, that is people 16 to 24, is still 11.6%. And if you're African American in that age group, it's closer to 20%. That is way too high. And that's why since day one, the Obama administration, working with partners like Senator Mikulski and Senator Cardin, Congressman Cummings and others, have made summer jobs a very high priority. During the Recovery Act, there were summer job funding provided for roughly 400,000 people to get summer work. And over the last few years, so many people have stepped up and answered the president's call to provide summer job opportunities, because summer jobs tell young people that they have worth and they can add value. I vividly remember the jobs I had in my teenage years, whether it was working at Sears, whether it was working on the back of a trash truck. All those jobs taught me that you show up on time, you're part of a team, you learn how to work with a team, and you learn the value and dignity of work. And those jobs taught me so much about who I am today. And those return on investments are so critical because, as I said, the summer jobs don't just teach the hard skills, they teach young people to develop what I call the essential life skills that are critical to success. Baltimore's youth, and I'm looking to my right at Naja, who embodies this. Baltimore's youth crave opportunity. They've got game. They've got talent. And that's why 8,000 summer youth have signed up for summer jobs. And we owe it to each and every one of them to make sure that they can get a job, because we know that these jobs can lead to career pathways, as Naja will soon explain to you. And I want to make sure folks know, and we've met with Senator Mikulski, we've met with the mayor many times, and we've met with other key stakeholders. We are all in it as we talk about our investments in Baltimore. I was here earlier this morning talking about our investments with representatives of the city. And over the past few weeks, the city and the state, working together, have been working closely to develop a plan, and we will soon be giving out roughly $5 million in federal funding to really make sure that the jobs that we're talking about are career pathways. And that's what we're trying to do, making sure that we invest in Baltimore's greatest asset, which is its people. The people of Baltimore are tough and resilient. The business community in Baltimore, and I want to thank you, Don, again, knows that giving young people a chance is a win-win, and that tapping every source of human capital is the right thing to do and the smart thing to do. So we are making progress, but we're not quite at the summit. Set a very ambitious goal. I like setting ambitious goals because I know this is an ambitious city. It's a resilient city. I'm confident that we will meet this goal, but it is time for everyone to step up. We're all in at the federal government. We're in for the long haul. We're going to continue to work not only to make sure that people have summer job opportunities, but that everybody who wants to punch their ticket to the middle class long term is able to do so. And we're doing that in partnership with everyone here. Today's immediate moment, though, is for every business to step up. We're almost there, but we're not quite there. And we want to make sure that working together, every single person in Baltimore is empowered and they have that pathway to that future that is a great future. And I want to introduce now the wonderful senator, senior senator from Baltimore, Senator Mikulski, who's done so much for this city and this state and this nation. Senator Mikulski.
Thank you, Tom. I need a little screen. Before we're going to get going, don't push it up. Can you pull that back just a little bit? Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'm here representing the Baltimore federal delegation. Senator Ben Cardin, Congressman Elijah Cummings, Dutch Ruppersberger, and John Sarbanes. The Senate and the House are in session, and I will be leaving shortly to return to my duty station there. But they're there at committees and hearings, and we want Baltimore to know we are using our committees and our clout to bring every resource we can to Baltimore City. But while we're working to make sure the role of government is involved, we're here also. The delegation wants to thank our energetic and committed private sector for stepping up to the plate to help provide summer jobs for our young people, and also to provide the type of summer jobs that treats the skills or create the pathway to lead to a more permanent job. What we want to do today is, first of all, to thank our private sector. The leadership of the Greater Baltimore Committee, dynamic umbrella organization to the business community, individual companies like Wells Fargo, the Hyatt, and other of our hospitality industry, the institutions like Johns Hopkins that has really led the way, both in creating jobs and encouraging others to do it. So we're here to say thank you, thank you. This is a good start, but it is in our recovery, but it is not the only start. What we're looking for is, yes, summer jobs for young people today. But we're also looking for the type of summer jobs that do human development, focused on economic development, that leads to community development. We're here for the long haul. We're not looking only for Band-Aids. We are looking for what will lead to systemic change. And the way we see that is a partnership between the government at all levels and our private sector. You cannot have jobs without the private sector, but they need us as well. So what are we talking about? Summer jobs, yes. And we know that there'll be summer jobs where people will earn the money during the summer so they can go to school during the winter. And we hope that they get a taste of the job market and then get into knowing what the pipeline would be for a more permanent job. So if you're working at Hopkins today, do you see a future in being a lab tech, being a nurse, being a doctor? Maybe that summer job today one day will be a Nobel Prize winner 30 years from now. Dream big, go big. When you look at the young lady that might be starting in our hospitality industry and she sees what the business world is like, what it means that she could travel, or what it means that if she goes to a great university like Morgan to get her degree in business and could be a business leader, this is what we want people to work, see, and do. The other thing is that we're asking is that our private sector, whether you can hire one person, whether you can hire 10 people, or whether you can hire 100 people, give us a call and we'll respond. Give us a call and we'll respond. The third thing, too, that we're asking the delegation is suggesting is a procurement summit. Right now, we have the power of the meds, the eds, the beds, our financial sectors like T. Rowe Price and Legg Mason. What is it that you buy, and what is it that you can buy in Baltimore from business, and what is it that you can buy in Baltimore for minority business? And maybe there's even an opportunity for startups, for some opportunities to create new businesses, all of which would lead to jobs that play. So we encourage them, summer jobs today, we look for permanent jobs tomorrow, and a procurement conference so that we look at how we can stimulate new business or make better use of the businesses we have. But I also want you to know, we, on your federal delegation, are on your side. Particularly, I want to say that President Obama himself is very interested in this city and has instructed his cabinet to work with us in every day, every way possible. We had a meeting at the White House under the sponsorship of Valerie Jarrett, speaking personally for the president, in which he asked that every cabinet person take a look at what they can do to help. And then we asked for a point person. Well, we know that Tom Perez is one of our own. Ben Siegel, who works for Tom, and sometimes you wonder if Tom works for Ben.
That's a fair point.
But anyway, Mr. Ben Siegel is now the personal ambassador of the President of the United States to Baltimore to coordinate our federal efforts. Let's give that a round of applause. Now, we in Washington are asking our cabinet people to come. Secretary Jewell came yesterday to talk about summer jobs and kind of a conservation corps type work. The Secretary of HUD will be coming, and we said, don't just come to tour. Let's come with ideas and how do we get the lead paint out of our buildings? What can we do for second chance job recovery and housing renovation and housing remodelization, all the things that teach jobs do. So you're going to see the cabinet coming. You're going to see the money coming. It's not like we turn on a faucet, but we are creating a pipeline. And we see this as a pipeline for progress. I know the mayor has worked very much to create One Baltimore. We salute her efforts, and we know you'll be hearing from Michael Cryer, but working with our mayor, coordinating with our state government and our private sector, we can do it. We are One Baltimore. We need to go in one direction. We need to speak with one voice. We need jobs today, we need jobs tomorrow, and we need the kind of pipeline, educational and others, to be able to do this. So we look forward to working with you, and again, to our private sector. Thanks for stepping up, and let's keep those steps stepping. Was I supposed to? No, that's right.
Senator, I got this. My name is Kelly Schultz. I'm the Secretary of DLLR. And first of all, I wanted to thank this entire group for the invitation to come and talk to you about what we are doing. And I wanted to let you know that it is 100% a joint effort. So between our delegation, our federal delegation, between the Department of Labor and the city, we have come together as a team within and also the private sector to be able to put together ideas of where we're going to move forward. And a lot of those ideas came directly from the community over a series of community events and conversations that, thankful to our Baltimore City partners for being able to coordinate those. But I want to say that this is a summer youth conference, and we do have some exciting challenges in front of us, and I say that it's an opportunity to succeed because we do have the 5,000 that was our last year's goal. The city has raised that to 8,000, and we have funding for 7,000. I'm proud to say that through Governor Hogan and Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, we have committed over $1.5 million from state funds into this summer youth program, and that is something that we are looking and committed to continuing through the future. But I also do want to respond very quickly to our state delegations, Senators Ferguson and Pugh, that are in the room today, because they recognize, and our state legislature recognize, that it's not just about summer youth programs. This is also about longevity. This is about how we are going to be able to create long-term jobs and goals and skills for our youth. And the passage this year of the Summer Youth Apprenticeship Bill was something that we at the state government level and also the legislature thought that it was a most important part in order for us to move forward, to be able to create more opportunities for our youth throughout the schools. And it's not about college readiness, it's about skills training, it's about providing apprenticeship opportunities within the industries coming to us to let us know where they need that training to be able to occur. This is a great opportunity for Maryland. It's a one of a kind in the nation, and I think that through what we are able to do with the apprenticeships, with this administration and moving forward, it'll provide more youth opportunities in the very near future. And we are prepared to move forward again with all of our partners on that opportunity. And I know that we will be hearing from a youth as well, but I wanted to let you know about a youth that worked at DLLR through the summer internship program. His name was Darrell Carter, and he interned at DLLR for 3 years. And the staff at Dollar was able to watch him grow and progress into what he is now going into his junior year at Morgan State University. He was able to, congratulations to him. He came in as a junior from Baltimore Polytech, and he got integrated with what was actually happening within the agency, and he learned and he prospered, and he decided what his dreams were and what his goals were for his future. By the business community also being able to allow those opportunities for youth to be able to see firsthand what those opportunities are outside of what they may have been normally accustomed to and what they have been learning in their own neighborhoods. It's crucial to our workforce. Governor Hogan's administration is committed to providing more opportunities outside of what we would normally consider opportunities. And I am happy to be a part of this, and I thank very much the group that is here that is determined to also be our partners across this great state. I'm very proud to be able to introduce, I believe the mayor had talked about One Baltimore. the chairman of One Baltimore in his efforts in order to be able to increase funds for this wonderful summer youth program, Mr. Michael Cryer.
Thank you, Secretary Schultz. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm delighted to be here. First, I want to thank this distinguished cadre of extraordinary people, and especially my mayor and Senator Mikulski, who has taken this on as a cause célèbre, and we are moving forward in part because of her devotion and her commitment to seeing this happen. Less than a month ago, I was asked to do this job, to serve as chair of One Baltimore. The next morning, I woke up and I said, what did I do? But it was offset very quickly by the extraordinary level of enthusiasm and support that has been expressed throughout the city by many, many people. It has been, frankly, a very, very, very strong and important thing for me to know, because an important part of the role of One Baltimore is to establish a platform that facilitates a culture of collaboration. We have many, many people in our city who do great things, but we do have to find a way to improve how we connect what we do. And so I'm making that one of the core objectives of One Baltimore, that we are a platform to harness the resources from our public, our private, our foundation, and community sectors to improve the city, to meet its needs, and to facilitate its growth. I am especially grateful today because summer jobs is the beginning of our commitment to demonstrate the deliverables that are key. And if we're not focused on jobs, frankly, we're wasting our time. We must commit to the employment of people in ways that are substantial and that are sustainable. And I look at Najee and I recall myself as a young 9-year-old kid selling newspapers, News America. Many of you wouldn't know anything about that because that paper is gone. But it was an important moment in my life because I learned responsibility. I learned what it meant to get up in the snow and to deliver papers. People were waiting on it. Time was important. And so young people began to understand what it means to develop the work ethic. It is critical to the later days in our lives when we understand what responsibility means. It is so important that they also understand the importance of what to do with money. We intend to add to this summer job experience financial literacy. Young people should know something about how to handle the money that they get. Beyond that, we should know something about what we do in terms of how we work with people. And so we intend to make the summer experience an enrichment experience. Developing the work ethic is important, but also developing the other assets that go along with that are just as important. So I am thrilled to say to our business community and to others who are stepping up. Just this morning, I got a call. We had another 150 jobs that were added to the list. Just an extraordinary number. I think the more people know, the more people want to do. And so we're getting this word out to as many people as possible. And I'm confident that not only will we raise the money, we will have the slots. And we'll have young people who next year will feel the benefit of having had this good summer experience. Now I have the pleasure of introducing a good friend of mine and someone who is very key in helping to increase the number of jobs in the private sector. My good friend and president of the GBC, Mr. Don Fry.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the introduction, and to Senator Mikulski and Secretary Perez, thank you for your strong commitment to this effort. And Secretary Schultz, appreciate all the work at the state level as well. And to Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, we certainly support your strong support and your innovative approach to the youth summer employment. You know, when business employers all face a fundamental question, and that's where will my future workforce come from? And obviously for many of those in Baltimore, it's the 23,000 students who are currently attending city high schools. Each of us remembers our first job. We just heard from Mike Fryer that his was newspapers. I remember the mayor telling me I think her first job was at Harbor Place and doing retail. Puppets. My first job was actually supervising elementary school kids at a daycare center. Now, some of those jobs don't necessarily lead to the careers that we have, but they certainly provide that responsibility that's critically important for us to learn as we move forward. And why are jobs critically important for students? Of course, they get invaluable exposure to the work environment, but it's also important for the business community because we get a firsthand look at talented yet developing young people that are close by to our city and our city businesses. We can identify skills of today's young workers and help them target other skills that they need to acquire. And most importantly, we can identify talented young prospects to bring into those businesses' workforce either right away or when they finish their education. And you're going to hear some stories about that a little bit later. When we look at some demographics and the challenges from a workforce perspective, just take this into consideration. By 2018, not very far away from now, employment growth and retiring baby boomers are going to create tremendous workforce demands. More than 900,000 job vacancies will be created in Maryland alone. By 2020, now 5 years from now, 50% of our workforce is going to come from millennials. So what better time for us to start learning what the talent is than today? So as we've heard, I think what's critically important for Baltimore businesses is that we need to start our workforce development efforts right now, today, at home. And today, as we've heard, represents a call to action for the business community to step up and step forward more than it even has in recent years. And this is a perfect opportunity to do so. We've been fortunate to have strong business support in recent years. Our hosts, Wells Fargo and Andy Bertamini, have been strong supporters of the Hire One Youth program for the past 3 summers. And I think Andy will probably tell you, but they have taken those summer hires and continued them to full-time employment each and every year. We have Mercy Hospital and ABC Box, Veolia, and many others who are great participants in this program. And Ron Peterson of Johns Hopkins Health System is with us today. Ron Daniels of Johns Hopkins could not be here, University could not be here, but they have been critical supporters of this program, and in fact this year have stepped up and indicated that they're going to increase their summer employment of summer hires by 50%. So please join in thanking them. So this is clearly a time for that call to action for all businesses to follow that example, to show support for summer employment opportunities. It's a win-win situation. It makes sound business sense for the business community, and it's a great learning experience for our future workforce. A perfect example of that is Nigel Bryant. I'm going to introduce Nigel to you. He works at the Hilton Baltimore at their front desk. He was a Hire One participant in 2013. He's attended Stratford University studying hospitality, and after graduation, he is going to enter the Hilton Management Trainee Program. So it's a perfect example of what can happen in summer employment. Nigel?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I just want to tell you about my journey through Hire One and where I am today. So last year I was working in retail. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was just working every day supporting my family. So then I went through this program called Yo Baltimore, which introduced me to Hire One. Now when I got through Hire One, someone mentioned hospitality to me, and I didn't really know what that was. And they just said I had like the great personality for it and I would be a good candidate. So there was a hospitality career fair and there were only 2 positions and about 20 candidates. I went in ambitious, came to get the job. I delivered very well and ended up getting the Hilton Baltimore job. I started in I started in the culinary kitchen, but that wasn't enough for me. I wanted to know how the whole hotel operated. So I went from culinary to finance to sales to revenue to front desk to purchasing. So I got to see how the whole hotel operates. During going through all of the different departments, I realized I wanted to do revenue management. So I discovered a career that I actually wanted to do. So not only did I discover the career I wanted to do, it convinced me to further my education to attend Stratford University in hospitality. So once the internship was over, there was a GSA position open. And me, again, being as ambitious as I was, I went to the manager and I'm like, hey, I really want this job and I feel like I'm confident enough to do it, and just give me the opportunity and I will do well. Like I put in my 2 weeks before I got the job and everything. So I got hired August of 2014, and I've been there for about 9 months now. I'm currently enrolled in Stratford University, sophomore in hospitality. And now I'm actually been interviewed for a supervisor position, and it's only been 8 months. So So what I'm saying is, if you give the youth the opportunity, like we really want to do better, like we want to get jobs and we want to further our education, we just need help and a guide to really show us the way. Because again, I didn't know anything about hospitality until I actually entered the Hire One program.
Congratulations. Good job.
So good morning. I want to just say that I consider myself very fortunate to work in a city that has elected officials and business colleagues that are so committed to youth and giving them opportunities. When the mayor asked me a few years ago to support her in the Hire One Youth initiative, it didn't take me a moment to say yes and to be fully committed, because in the summer, in June of 1974, someone gave me a chance when I was still 17 years old to be a bank teller. And now here, more than 40 years later, I'm the Maryland Regional President for Wells Fargo.
Wow.
So what I say to you is that these jobs are needed. Our young people are smart. And for the last 4 years, we have hired one youth who have been retained. All 4 of them now are with us, or I should say 3. We just made the 4th offer on Monday. Will Bates is down in Bowie. He works at our Bowie store as a teller while he's going to Bowie State. We have Amber Varner, who is at our Harford Road location. She's at Morgan. And Rashad Du Bois, who we hired a year ago, who said he wants my job, and I believe it because he has already been promoted to a personal banker at our Harford Road location, and then just this week. So when we talk about the opportunities, we need employers to provide jobs, and we need the money to support it. And so I consider it an honor to work with the mayor, and thank you, Secretary Perez, for all that you're doing, and Senator Mikulski, to be able to help our youth in the city.
Thank you.
Again, I want to thank all of our partners who are here, those who are here and haven't been able to speak, but you are doing the work to give our young people opportunities. I want to thank you again. And with this, I will open it up to questions about our summer employment. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very quickly, the Hire One program, the name, frankly, ought to, now that we've increased our numbers, let's hire 5 or hire 10. So we don't want you confused. You're not satisfied. We haven't met the burden with 1. So we appreciate you thinking about it that way.
This press conference wasn't as crowded this time last year. To what degree does everything that's happened in Baltimore resulting in everybody who's in this room right now?
I think we're at a very important crossroads in our city. We are a city that has challenges, and I've talked about this with Secretary Perez, like many cities across the country that are dealing with poverty, they're dealing with high unemployment, dealing with generations that have had challenges with education and retaining jobs. We are not different, but we have a different opportunity on the other side of the unrest to look at how we can work together to galvanize all of these resources. Everyone, I believe that what the unrest did was to speak to people's hearts in a different way and let them know that it's not enough. Whatever we were doing, it's not enough. We have to look for ways to work together. Business, institutions, all of the elected officials, everyone has to come together and make this important time meaningful, not just for now and then this summer. That's what we're here to talk about, these summer jobs. This is very important, but One Baltimore is also about setting a pathway for systemic change. And I'm not going to miss this opportunity. Yes, it was a huge challenge, but I honestly believe it is also a huge opportunity for Baltimore, but also for us to be an illustration to other cities how we can come together and be better.
Madam Mayor, is there a direct correlation between higher youth employment and lower youth violence?
I think our young people want to be employed. They want to be engaged. They want to be active and responsible, productive members of our community. When you give more of our young people that opportunity, I don't think it's not rocket science. We're going to have fewer and fewer young people with an opportunity to engage in unproductive and potentially illegal activity.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
I'm here representing the nonprofit community as well as the business community, President's Roundtable. Will there be a roadmap that will be available for us to see how do the smaller businesses work with in support, and how do the nonprofits work in terms of supporting this agenda?
That's an excellent question. It was on specifically on the youth works part of it in the Hire One Youth. We're looking for slots, and we talked about that. We're looking for money and we're looking for slots. So I would encourage you to connect with Jason Perkins-Cohn right there. He was organizing our summer employment program. So if you have a small business that might not be able to afford to hire a young person for the summer, but has an opportunity that they think would be meaningful, we can connect. Because again, we have some funds that aren't necessarily matched with slots. We need those slots. So that's how the small businesses, that's how the not-for-profits can participate. We're looking for meaningful opportunities for these kids so they can be inspired to find their path in life. And they need to have as many pathways as possible. So we're going to make that connection. And I would say to stay tuned. What we're doing with One Baltimore is creating that long-term strategy for how we can continue this momentum, continue this work together as One Baltimore, all of the various pieces that make up Baltimore to change us in incredible ways. So thank you very much.